Lawson. I was born and raised in Oakland, California. I had a 2-parent home at a young age. My father, he did the best he could, but he was an alcoholic. My mother, she did the best she could, but she was a working girl. Now, they did the best they can do for me, and they were really loving parents, and they worked very hard to keep a roof over my head. And for some parents, that is enough to keep clothes on our back and food on the table. Now, as for me, I needed more. So I had 2 brothers, 2 older brothers that were very dear to me. I loved them, but I still needed more. Now, my father became very depressed after his mother died. He began to drink more and more to the point to where it took a toll on his life. And my mother, she felt that she had to constantly keep working at night to provide for us. So at a young age, about 7 or 8 years old, my father got drunk one night and he tried to commit suicide. And my mother, she wasn't doing well with my father, and their relationship was very rocky, so they split ways. And my mother, she met another guy, and he decided to move us to Sacramento. And so my dad, he went into rehab to get his life together, but there was no contact. So now I'm in Sacramento, California. And my mother, she wanted to change her life. She didn't want to be a working girl anymore. She actually gave her life to God. And so my mother raised me inside the church for a few years. And so now I'm age of 13 years old. I'm in junior high. I'm starting to like boys, and I became sexually active at the age of 13. I had friends that were also sexually active as well. And it was just the thing to do. I began to dress a certain way. I began to wear short skirts and tight jeans, and I looked at videos. I've always watched TV since a young child. So as me watching videos, I wanted to look just like these girls that I was seeing. And also my friends. I wanted more. I wanted the body that my friends had. They were more developed, and I wasn't. So I always looked at myself that I always wanted more. So growing up, I told myself I was going to have more. But having a mother who was always on her knees praying for me and telling me and teaching me about God and the Bible, church was still distasteful to me. I didn't like it very much. So as I got old enough, I began to drift off and continue my journey with boys. At the age of 16, I hit high school and I became a new person. I wasn't that quiet and well-reserved type girl. I became loud, very violent, very sexual. This very ground that I'm standing on right here, I fought many times. In front of this store that I grew up in, I had tussles. At this point, I think to myself like, wow, I was some type of girl. I was very loud. As you can say, I was very angry, very angry. I needed more. So as I grew up and keep going, and I had a boyfriend that was 3 years older than me. He was cheating on me. He got me pregnant. I had abortions. He claimed he loved me. He wanted to marry me, but he continued to hurt me, cheat on me, physically and verbal abuse. So, after that, I became this girl that was called a hustler. I began to make fast money. That's what I wanted, right? I grew up telling myself I wanted more, and I told myself I was going to get more. So I became a girl that used to go inside of banks and do fraudulent things. And so I used to go state to state doing these type of things, going inside of banks, and I just wanted money. I felt that if I wanted more, I had to get more money. No matter how much I wanted to get it, no matter what the consequences are, I was going to get it. So this one particular time, I had a bad feeling and I went inside this bank. And as I was trying to withdraw money, something was telling me, you need to leave. This voice was telling me, you need to leave, Myesha, leave. My eye began to twitch, but I was gonna tell myself, I'm gonna get this money. And after that, I'm done, I'm gonna go home. Next thing you know, the police came in on me inside the bank. And mind you, I'm in the state of Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska. My mother did not know where I was, neither did my brothers. My mother had no clue of what I was doing. At this time, I was on my own. I had bills I had to take care of. So I believe in, I have to hustle in order to keep a roof over my head. Ring a bell? It's the same thing my mother did. She had to work to keep a roof over our head. No matter what she did it. So as I sit there with my head down, they're asking me my name. They're asking me what am I doing? How am I doing it? Who am I doing it with? And as growing up in the streets, you can't be a snitch because snitches get put in ditches. And I believed that what the streets was telling me was right. And I felt like I have a mother. They might know where my mother lived or anything. So I didn't say a word. I went to jail. I got booked. Then maybe 2 days after that, the feds came. And they wanted to pick up on my case. They thought I was linked up with other people that were also doing the same crime that I was held for. And after that, I was like, what in the world is going on here? Like, come on, I can't go to prison. I was afraid, but my pride did not let me snitch. So I just told everything that I did, and I told them that I did it by myself. Then they tried to link me up with these people, and I told them I did not know them, which was true. I did not know them. And by the grace of God, they let me go. The feds did not pick up on me. But I still have to spend time in jail for the things that I did. So I was with class 4 felonies. Each felony was 0 to 5 years. But by the grace of God, they dropped 2. And then the other 2, they dropped to misdemeanors, which was 0 to 1 years. So I'm still going to court for that. I'm still looking at prison time. And at that time, I had an experience with Christ. I began to read my Bible. I began to make promises to God that if He let me out, I would dedicate my life to Him. So I got out. I did a total of 6 months. And as I'm out, I still have to stay in the state of Nebraska. I met these girls, and they told me, you can stay with us until your case is over, but we cannot take care of you. You have to take care of yourself, and this is how. So I became a dancer at the time, and this is by the age of 19 years old. And I felt that, okay, I can do this. I'm skinny enough. I'm beautiful, as people have been telling me. I'm a great dancer. I've been dancing all my life. I was a cheerleader. I'm very flexible. I was in gymnastics. I'm very photogenic. I was modeling. When I was a young girl, I can do this. This is a piece of cake. And at the time, I needed to survive. I needed to eat. I needed to put clothes on my back. I came out of jail with the clothes on my back that I went in with. So I was in need. So I let the girls teach me. And I became a dancer. I became a lustful woman. I wanted men to like me so they can pay me. Then, now, I went to court. And it's really strange how this happened because the judge knew one of the girls that I was staying with. and she came to court with me. And as the prosecutor was throwing things at him that I should not even leave the state, that I should go to prison, that back home I'm on probation, I shouldn't even be in this state. And he said, that is irrelevant. Let this girl go. Time served. Mind you, I had 2 misdemeanors. So he split the 3 months for each misdemeanor. So I get to go home. Now everything that I learned from those girls, I brought it home. I became a dancer again. And now, after that, I began to go a little deeper in the game. I became a working girl, as we call it. I began to sell my body for money. And I got real deep into the game, that there was no getting out, as I was telling myself. I wanted to take it to the top. I wanted to be a high-class escort, as they call it. It's all the same, really. You're selling your body, your time. You're putting a price on yourself. There's no difference, really. So, not to mention, my encounter with God at the age of 16. I had a friend that was an Adventist. And I went to Central and I watched DVDs by Doug Batchelor. But I never converted, I never committed. I never fully commit myself to God. I knew of him, but I didn't know him. I continued to just party, drink, smoke weed. I took pills. I felt that I wasn't gonna do everything. I'm just gonna do some things, you know? And so I began to engage with guys. And I met this guy, and he was very special to me. And he was a good guy, for the most part. And we began to engage. We tried to form a relationship, and within that, I happened to get pregnant. And at the time, I was still dancing, well, trying to, until I got pregnant, and then he happened to go into prison, and I happened to lose our child at 8 months. And after that, I became suicidal. That rings a bell, right? Remember my father? He tried to commit suicide too. So some things never left me. But the Lord had his hand on me. Now, after I went through that whole depression, I had to get up and get out and get on my feet. And so I stuck with what I knew best, hustle. So I got up and I moved to Vegas. I continued to dance. I continued to sell my body for money. And the guy that was in prison, we had phone calls every now and then. He would speak, about God and tell me how God is changing his life, and prayed for me and prayed with me. And I was still resistant because I felt that I couldn't live the life that I was living because I had to take care of myself. And I still wanted more. I couldn't leave the money. So the Lord never stopped using that guy that I was so in love with. And now he gets out and I'm still resistant. And as I see that God is still using him, I go and I come out and I visit him, and I happen to get pregnant again. And I felt like, wow, really? What am I gonna do now? I'm still working. I can't take care of a child. I can't even lose this child. You know, I was so afraid of losing another baby that I became depressed and I became stressed out, but I still had to work. One night, on my way to work, I began to have a possible miscarriage. And I had to go to the hospital, and they said, you did not lose the baby, but you are having a possible miscarriage, which is called a subchronic bleeding. Your cervix is thin. You could lose the baby. You need to be on bed rest for 3 months. So you can imagine I was stressed out because if I didn't work, I'm not gonna eat. Somehow I would work every now and then, and I would have a good night, and then I was able to rest for a week and still be able to take care of the bills. Almost got evicted at one point. So my mind was just racing. What am I gonna do? Me and the guy's relationship was rocky. Most of my hurt and pain was going towards him. I was stressed out, like I can't take care of this baby. I can't even have a baby. At one point, I was going to abort my baby because of my own selfish reasons. My own selfish reasons of the rumors that were going around of not being his child because I lived in Vegas. Not only I had to work, I had to keep going. I had a lease, I had a car payment, I had bills, I had bail bonds to pay. I mean, I was always going to jail around that time too. Man, but the Lord, he pulled me through. So as I'm tugging, I said, okay, I'm gonna keep this baby, I'm gonna work, I'm gonna save money, I'm gonna go back home. And I did, not even knowing that people out here was praying for me. So when I came home, I was 5 months pregnant. At this time, me and the guy, we are planning to get married. I'm really pushing forth and I'm seeking God, and I began to have my Bible studies. Mind you, I started in Vegas a month before I moved out here that I started Bible studies at a Seventh-day Adventist church. And so I continued, and by 8 months, I got baptized at Southgate, Seventh-day Adventist church. And I continued my journey. And me and my fiance are now married. And not to mention, I have a relationship with my father, a real good relationship, as if he never left. I began to forgive him because I felt like he left me. I also forget people that hurt me along the way. I began not to hold resentment towards my mother, and I'm still at times struggling with that, but the Lord is good. I began to forgive who's my husband now for the things that he put me through, and he forgave me for the things that I put him through. I now have 3 kids, 3 beautiful girls. When I thought that I couldn't have kids, when I thought as of right now I was going to be told that I can have cervical cancer by the age of 30. And the Lord has healed me from that. I felt that I could not be loved by a man because I gave my body. My self-worth was low, my self-esteem was real low. The Lord blessed me with a God-fearing man who loves me, no matter what I've done, no matter how many things I've done to my body. He loves me as if I've never done it. The Lord has healed me. I'm here today to tell you that the Lord changed my life. And he continued to change me. And the Lord will change you. Thank you. Amen.